Nasty weather outside today, but thanks for coming anyway, guys. It's probably disgusting out there on the highways. I didn't have to take that ride, but I'm sure 22 was nasty, 78, I mean, whatever, everything was probably, yeah, 78 was bad this morning. It wasn't even raining like this. Yeah, so I'm sure we'll get some more people trickling in as we progress. Today's lesson that I'm going to give you guys is one that's actually very underrated, but it's super important. I don't think a lot of people consciously think about this, but it's something that I think would drive all of us. When I was a kid, when we were in class, there would be days where we'd have like substitute teachers, or we'd have like just like an off day. So I kind of wanted to start the class this way. It's a little bit of a silly thing, but I think it'll wake everybody up, and I think we'll be a little competitive in the morning to try to get started with our topic. When I think it was like in, I don't know what grade it was. I know it was in grade school. It was probably first, second, third grade. Our teacher sometimes used to play hangman. Do you guys remember that game?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
You guys remember how hangman is? Paul's laughing, but Paul's gonna. All right. So I'm gonna do is break you guys up into two groups, and the losing group has to do a role play today for everyone. So sound like fun?
What are the teams? Like this side?
This side, I guess the first three and the other three. Danny, you can stay out of it unless someone else comes in. If you guys don't want to play, let me know. You don't have to play.
Is that an 8-letter word?
So we have two words, right? And it's something that everybody can never have enough of, I believe, in my opinion. So I guess we'll flip a virtual coin for it. Do you have a real coin? Anyone have a real coin? See what team goes first? Yeah, you can. It doesn't matter. You can move over one if you want. That's fine. Yeah, show some respect. All right, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 2. Rocco, which one is it?
1 to 2?
Mm-hmm.
2.
All right, you guys go first. So you guys gotta believe me on that. Trust me. Trust me. All right, so I think the way it works, if I remember correctly, is you pick a word, or you pick a letter, and if the letter's in there, we put it in. If not, then we leave it out, right?
Like the Wheel of Fortune.
I think it's something like that. I'm just counting my words.
So we have to pick a letter first. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so you guys can pick a letter first.
Lou, is that 9 letters or?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you guys want to take a guess at it right now, go right ahead.
Well,
So what is the number guess?
What's the clue you gave us?
Something everyone can never have enough of. Okay? Yeah, sure. Mucho dinero.
Lots of money.
All right, so Rocco, you want to start first? You want to give us a letter?
A?
No A's, so I'm going to put the A here.
And then
And that means I gotta put it.
Oh, you got to put I got to put a little head, sorry.
well, shouldn't you make 2?
Huh?
Shouldn't you make 2?
Oh, for one team and the other team, right? So this is Team A?
Team Savage, you should put. And then the other one can
Team Rocco.
be, yeah. And then the other team can be Team Papa Face.
That would be you.
Seriously?
What do you guys want to name your team?
Team Sexy.
All right, Team Sexy. All right, go ahead, Team Sexy. All right, so go ahead, Team Sexy, you're up.
Team Sexy Rocco. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
E.
Okay, you got E. Good job. Keep going.
We go again?
Mm-hmm. You guys got it, right?
I.
To I. Well, you see, that's the key. You got to start with vowels. He watches a lot of Wheel of Fortune.
A is a vowel?
Huh?
A is a
You know, he did good. He tried. It's just the wrong vowel. The more common vowels.
You guys want to pick one?
O.
I'll just go O or U.
No O. Now Team Rocco, yeah.
R. Crap, no R.
Unless you say it like a Chinese person, you're going to have an R. That wasn't racist. You guys. T?
Really?
T's in everything.
Everything's not this.
S.
You're Team Rocco, right?
Yeah, S.
I'm terrible with spelling. All right, go ahead. Good job. Oh, wait.
Sexy.
No, L.
You guys can solve it at any time.
Can I solve it?
No.
Come on,
All
guys.
right, time's up.
Yeah, seriously.
If you're not gonna solve it, pick a letter.
Come on, man. Seriously?
Alright,
I don't see it. You.
No.
South Park. You said you, Rocco?
Yeah. Alright. Let's go with an F.
This guy's gonna spell the whole thing out. I already know him.
Alright, if you don't see it now.
Okay, listen, Mike.
You guys see it?
Team Rock.
Everybody! I'm here! I missed you so much, guys. Woo, how is everybody doing? Let me give you a hug.
Mrs. Tony Robbins, how are you?
Fuerte, fuerte. No, no, no. Así no.
Así no?
Voy a entrar de nuevo.
Okay.
You're gonna give me a good hug. Come on.
Start over. This is what she learned at the Tony Robbins.
Oh, yes. Hugging.
Everybody hugs and touches and.
Thank you. You miss me, guys? Nobody miss me?
Are you,
Paul, you did. I know, Paul, you did. You miss me. Come on. Oh, yes.
I don't even think I have to ask, but are you Team Sexy or Team Rocco?
Team sexy.
All right, Team Sexy and Team Rocco. So you slide over, you're over there. All right, so we were with Team Sexy, right?
Yeah, so let's go with a D.
Paul loves the D's.
Spectacular.
Let's go with a P.
Can you just solve it?
Discipline.
There you go, very good. And you picked. You pick. So if you picked the wrong team, so. Huh?
2 out of 3?
You guys want to play different words?
So we're working lots of money.
All right, so today's topic is going to be self-discipline, and the losing team today, unfortunately, is going to be Team Rocco. So you guys are going to do some role play later on for us to all learn from. So I'm going to give you guys some of these handouts.
Really? I should have came in first.
Here.
Can't tell me Robbins.
And we're going to have a special guest, Mrs. Tony Robbins, today. She's going to give us a insight into what she learned. You want me to?
Lem, can you show us your burnt feet?
You can't burn it. She's got like 2 inches of callus under it. She can't feel anything. She could walk on thorns. She could walk on anything. Okay. As we see, today's topic is going to be self-discipline, and from the handout that you guys have in front of you, you guys can see what the dictionary describes, some of the descriptions and some of the definitions of what discipline is. The controlled behavior resulting from discipline is, or the activity or experience that provides mental or physical training or a system of rules of conduct. Now, it's a Latin origin word. And it's been obviously handed down to the American English language. So I wanted to ask you guys what you feel that discipline actually means to you, or what discipline, what definition you can give to discipline. So we're going to pick on Team Rocco, since Team Rocco didn't win today. We're going to ask you guys to participate a lot more. So I'll give you my definition of discipline when you guys finish with your definitions. But discipline is something that some people who have it, they don't even realize they have it, and some people who don't have it think that it's impossible to ever achieve. So with Team Rocco, I think we'll start with Diego. Diego, can you give me a definition of what discipline means to you?
Discipline, I think, is the action of doing things even if you don't feel like doing them.
Okay,
Like
good answer.
having the strength to do it.
All right, so what Diego's saying, discipline is doing something that you don't feel like doing, but it might be necessary for you, right? Mm-hmm. Nicola, you have any ideas of what discipline means to you?
If you're talking about self-discipline, being able to manage yourself, like, right things, right places, right time.
That's good. How about you, Rocco?
I was gonna say just like probably doing like the right thing and like everything that's right for you and like knowing what's right and wrong.
Okay, good. Paul, you want to chime in?
I was gonna say, like, for me, control. So being able to control
certain situations yourself, you know, being able to stay on schedule, stay on task.
Absolutely. I agree with all those answers. All those answers are correct. It just depends on what it means to you and how important it is in your life, or how insignificant it probably currently is, and how you need to probably work on that. So what I feel that discipline is doing what you feel is ordinary, but is extraordinary to other people. So I think that that's what discipline means to me. Once you become disciplined enough where you feel that it's only second nature, like, you know, let's just say you train yourself to get up at X hour in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock, whatever it is that you want to train yourself to do for the betterment of yourself. And then if somebody's looking at your activities and they feel that that's extraordinary, then I feel that that's discipline. Now, discipline is also in the eye of the beholder, because some people may feel like you're disciplined, and other people might feel like that is not discipline, that's away from it. But you don't have to do it for anyone else but yourself. So if you're disciplining yourself, don't discipline yourself to be like someone else, but to just be a better you, not a better anyone else. So with our lesson plan for today, I wanted to see why is discipline important? Discipline is important for so many reasons, and I think that's the basis of any great start to any career, or a great start to any self-improvement that you guys might want to achieve. Discipline is important because it builds moral conduct, right? So what that means to me is that you'll do things without even people watching you. If you see guys that go into the army, sometimes they're like messing up and they're on the streets, and after going to the army, going into some kind of special forces, armed forces, what they do, they come out and they're a different person, and everyone notices that they're different in a lot of ways. And the reason why is because they've been trained how to be more disciplined, and now it's just second nature for them. So they don't have to do it anymore with their sergeant or their instructor or anyone telling them to do it, just because now it's built into their moral fiber. Being disciplined also makes you a better person, I believe, because even though no one is watching you, you're going to do the right thing because you've been disciplined enough to always know the right from wrong. It's going to build your character. It's going to turn you into a person that more people are going to be attracted to by nature. You're going to feel that, you know, the person you will become when exercising discipline is someone that most people will, you know, try to almost emulate, you know, and want to be like. So if you want people to see you in a certain light, discipline is going to have to definitely be part of that equation. You're never going to be able to reach any level in life or any accomplishment if you don't practice discipline. It's something that's probably going to be part of a formula that it's going to take you to a next level, but you're not going to realize how big of a part it's actually playing. So before you ever start anything, before you start a new regimen, the first thing it starts is with a decision of doing what you want to do. And followed by that decision is a course of discipline, a course of action that you're going to have to stick to day in and day out. Even when it's not easy, even when no one's looking, when you're tired, maybe even when you're hungry or when you're fatigued, it doesn't matter. But if you have discipline, you can do anything. There's a guy that I watched one day who has like a series or something called Driven. And this guy, he was like overweight, he was like 300 pounds, but he's like 6 something, the guy was pretty big. And he not only trained, you know, one day, like he just said, I'm going to change my life. He not only changed his life and became very active, very fit, but he started running like ultra marathons, which are like 100 miles in a day, like crazy stuff. And he put himself through Navy SEAL boot camp, because one day he was in his living room and he saw on National Geographic, I think it was, or one of those shows, what it takes and what these guys do during Hell Week. Anybody familiar what Hell Week is? Right? Hell Week is this thing where these Navy SEALs, they train, but they don't sleep for like a week straight, or if they sleep, it's for like 30 minutes or an hour. So between sleep deprivation, non-stop physical activity, not eating, like all this craziness, you know, a lot of these guys not only don't make it through Hell Week, but some people actually even die through Hell Week. So this guy put himself through Hell Week not once, but 3 times, and made it through twice. You know, one time I guess he had given up. But this guy was like so amazing, and now they write books on him. He does, you know, the series and all these things. And I don't know, Danny was in the car with me when I was watching part of it. Remember, I think you were in the car. And this guy has now like a huge following just because he turned himself himself into a more disciplined person. And what his whole thing was is that you can do anything that you want to that you'll put your mind to, and you can do anything for a sustained period of time. It's all in you. You know, you have to kind of like let yourself know that this is not going to get the best of me. This is not going to kill me. I'm going to do it no matter what. So that's an extreme example of what discipline could turn somebody into. But I took a lot away from that person, because not that I want to do a 100-mile race, but you know, it just goes to show you that you can do anything, and the little achievements that we probably try to put in front of ourselves seem minuscule in comparison to what other people can accomplish in a short amount of time. Now, examples of how you can practice your discipline, right? All right, and you guys, I'm going to ask you guys to give me some examples as well, but I'm going to read off to you guys what some that I felt were important for this conversation today. There's nothing greater that you could do for your day than waking up a little bit earlier than everyone else. The reason I say that is because you can focus more time on yourself. You can focus more times on the things that you need to do in order to prepare for the day. You can also prepare your day better, so the rest of your day can also, you know, fall into place. Instead of feeling like you wake up just in time, you know, to get to work maybe at 9 o'clock and nothing else, but you know, even skip your, you know, breakfast if that's what you do, or whatever things that need to be done in the morning, and you're always in a bad mood when you're rushing. I don't know if you guys notice this. When you're rushing, you know, you're yelling at your kids, you're trying to hurry everyone up, but maybe it's you that needs to be a more disciplined person and wake up that 1 or 2 hours earlier, and that may take, you know, getting used to, but it's definitely going to be something that is going to make your day better and yourself better. Getting fit. I know a lot of people in here, including myself, we always struggle with, you know, getting to a certain shape that you guys want to get into, or physical condition. I know that many of you guys struggle with probably getting to the gym, or eating properly, or doing both, or just making the right choices, or making the right meal choices. So getting fit is is also a very important aspect in disciplining yourself, because the better food you eat, the better you'll feel, the more energy you're going to have, just the better everything. You know, you're even going to have more ability to learn, because you guys ever heard of the phrase called brain foods? You know, the foods that I guess make you learn better, and that's true. There couldn't be anything more truer than that, because there are certain foods that make you tired and sleepy, and you just don't want to be bothered with anything. You get like comatose, you guys hear, just from like eating too much carbs. It's really just like a carb inflicted like sleepiness. But when you guys fill yourselves up with good foods that are alive, have energy, are not processed, you guys will feel better. You guys will take everything in better. You'll sleep better. Everything will get better. So getting fit and eating better are the two of the things that I think everyone in here can always improve on. I know a lot of you guys think that like my diet is super perfect, but at times it's not, because you guys always see me bring my food. You know, so my challenge to myself within the next 30 days are going to be to clean up my diet a lot better. I mean, just want to make it so I feel like I'm getting the most out of my meals, and I'm not like eating stuff that's processed, or stuff that it's just I'm eating it because I'm starving and I just want to get something into my stomach. So I think I urge you guys to do the same. If you guys are making bad decisions right now when it comes to food, like take the first 3 things that I said. Get up earlier, hit the gym, and prepare your meal for the day. You know, those are things that you can start doing to make yourself feel a million times better throughout. Now, if you guys are currently smokers, habitual drinkers, you guys are on any kind of like antidepressants or drugs or things that you know you don't need in your life, and you can wean yourself away from, right now is the right time for you guys to start giving yourself that challenge. You know, like we're talking about it, so let's just live in the present. Let's live in the right now. Let's see what we can do today to change our lives. You know, if you have a problem with any one of these things, and you want to be around longer, or you want to feel better, or you want to be there for your children, or you don't want to give them a bad example, let today be that day. You know, I'm going to give all you guys challenges at the end of the day, and I want everyone to participate, not just a few people that lost the hangman contest, but I want you guys to feel that we're all in this together. So if you guys have always lacked what's called an accountability partner, just because maybe you feel shy or embarrassed to tell your partner at home that hey, you want to change because you think they'll ridicule you, or they'll tell you, hey man, you tried 3 times already, you tried 20 times, don't waste my time already with that, I know you're not going to do it. I don't know if they do that to you, but you know, it's important to have people in your life that are going to strengthen you, and you guys are all going to be there to try to make each other better. So if any one of these ailments are kind of the things that are on your mind right now, then you know, you don't feel that you can't address those as well. Now, disciplining yourself doesn't also just mean, physical things. It could also mean learning. Learning is something that I think will always and never stop doing. But you always have to keep in mind and be conscious that we don't know everything. Like, I've been in real estate for God knows how long, and I can always learn something from someone. I always do. I even learn from people that are brand new. I learn from people who I never thought, that could teach me something. So we always have to be you always have to keep ourselves learning, no matter what. So if this business is brand new to you guys right now, especially yourselves, like, not only is it going to be hard in the beginning, but you also have to give time to doing the things that are on your daily activities, but you also have to make time for learning. Just because you pass your test and just because you guys are licensed now doesn't mean like the learning stops. You guys will always have to keep mentors, keep like people who are succeeded, people who are at places that you guys want to be at in the future. Keep them always somewhere where you can either tune into their shows or podcasts or books, anything, because you'll always get something. You'll get motivation, you'll get something from these people. Until you reach that platform where you feel like you've been equivalent to what they've done, then move on to a bigger mentor, move on to somebody else that could do even more for you. But always keep learning. You'll always be a student. And if you're always a student, then you'll always be in a good position. Practicing patience is something that I think that a lot of us also lack. I know you guys know me now, but I used to be my patience would be very, very short, especially with my other half. And I also used to feel that I was always right and I never wanted to compromise. But once you guys can understand that nothing in life comes argumentatively, if you guys can always peacefully hash things out, it gets you a lot further. I've tried to argue with my clients sometimes, and all that's got me is trouble. So that's why I don't let my clients feel like they've lost a conversation with me, or there was a disagreement and they came out losing. I always try to find where there's a great compromise for the two. And if I got to make them feel like they won, and I got to make myself look like I'm the person who I got the butt end of the stick on that deal, I'll let it be, just because I know that by avoiding conflict and by avoiding a fight, I won that, and they necessarily didn't have to. Now, there's certain times where you can't avoid conflict, and it gets to a point where your back's to the wall. But try everything possible just to exercise patience with people, exercise just care, and just make sure that when they walk out of that conversation, they feel like, maybe I was being the aggressor, maybe I was being a bad person, maybe Lewis deserves an apology from me. Because if you act in that way, you'll get a lot further in life than you will if you try to always undermine people and tell them that they're always wrong. Just try to see things their way before you come to a conclusion. Even with your kids, if you guys have children, I'm super patient with my girls. Because I know they're children. At the end of the day, they do things wrong. They get things dirty or whatever, and it gets you aggravated. But then you got to remember, my kids could be sick. Something could be wrong with them, or and I'm over here complaining because they're making a mess in the living room. So you guys should always think about things could always be worse. Things could always be much worse. So be happy for what you have, and let that be the way to you build your patience if it's possible. Okay, so exercising behaviors that are uncomfortable for a lot of you guys, that's going to be difficult, because our bodies and our DNA is compromised in a way where we are always constantly trying to save ourselves, and we're trying to avoid anything that could be potentially dangerous for us. It's built into our DNA. It's the way we survive. It's our survival mechanisms. So we don't want to do the things that are uncomfortable, because those uncomfortable things could lead to danger. So that's what our bodies and our physiology is composed of, because it thinks that by not doing these things, we're better off. So we get comfortable, and that's the definition of comfort, just avoiding things that are dangerous. So for a lot of you guys, that's going to be getting in front of a camera, talking to a group of people, doing an open house for the first time with nobody being there with you, Pam. So these things are uncomfortable, but guess what? They need to be done. There's things that you got to start doing that you may not like, things that could make you shake or be nervous or whatever the case may be. But you got to remember at the end of the day that none of these things are going to kill you. None of these things that you're going to have to learn how to do are going to be things that are going to hurt you, or are going to basically make you turn into someone that you don't want to be. It's only going to improve who you are. Getting uncomfortable and doing things that are mainstream, things that no one likes to do, makes you extraordinary, makes you exceptional, makes you somebody that other people would want to mimic and be like. But but it takes, like I said in the beginning, it takes a decision, and you just don't look back, because once you start doing things that are uncomfortable, you start to realize that, hey, that wasn't that bad. You know, like I've met people who went skydiving for the first time and they were terrified, and after they survived it and loved it, they were like, hey, that wasn't that bad. I'm not saying everyone go out and skydive, because I probably wouldn't want to skydive either, but you guys should definitely try things that are uncomfortable. Do things that in this business that no one else likes doing. Get creative. Do those things, and if it works for you guys, continue doing it. You know, there's no reason why these things won't work, but you know, you'll be attracted to certain things more than others. Okay, now working harder and smarter. This takes a lot of discipline, because there's a big difference in the two, but the two are definitely both are symbiotic to each other, and they're important for you guys to exercise both. Now, working hard, everybody knows what that is, right? Working hard, you know, you get up early, you don't dilly-dally, you make sure all the stuff gets done, and if it takes you 12 hours, 14 hours to do it, you do it. And no matter what it is, you do it, right? But there are certain things that people don't understand, that working hard doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be successful. It just means that you have a strong work ethic. All it means is that you know how to approach work and approach a situation and get it done. But there's things that you can do to always make things easier on yourself, and maybe not so much. Maybe easier is the wrong word. But how to get more done in a short amount of time, how to leverage yourself, how to leverage your time and your energy. So if there's ways for you guys to do it, like I'll give you a prime example. Like when Diego and I started prospecting for the first time, we started calling one number at a time. And that took us so long, and it was, you do that all day long, maybe you'll call 100 people. But we learned that there's ways to leverage your time and yourself, and using these systems, we're able to do exactly what we can do in one day and do it in 1 hour. So that's an example, a perfect example of doing things smarter. It's still working hard, but doing things smarter. So keep in mind that that's a strong principle for discipline as well, just being a hard worker. So don't ever let that also slip your mind. Now, not working also takes a lot of discipline, especially for someone like Lim or myself. Not working should be not working. So let's just say you have a family day, and you're constantly always checking your email and text messages and calling clients, but you're with your family. I think I struggle with that as well. But I think when you're not working, you should not work. And I think that takes a lot of discipline. When you're with your family, be present, be there with them, because before you know it, these little girls, these little boys, they're going to be grown people, and they're not going to want mommy and daddy anymore. Then you're going to feel like, wow, I spent the last 10 years of my life all doing is nonstop work. So, whatever your schedule is, 5, 6, 7 days a week, whatever, just try to make some time for them. And whenever that time is theirs, it's theirs. It's not anyone else's. Harry mentioned to me one day, he's like, I like how disconnected you are from work when you're with your girls. I was like, well, I have to, because, first of all, my daughter takes my phone now, so that helps me. I don't complain, take it, I don't care, because I'm disconnected now. I don't want to be at work when I'm at home. I just want to be with them, and I just want to make sure that they get the most out of, the one day they're with me, or the few hours at night that they're with me, because they don't get to see me that much. So when you're not working, you shouldn't work, in my opinion. You guys obviously live your own lives, but that's my opinion of how you should differentiate the two. Charity and giving back. Now, this is something that's really hard for a lot of people, especially people, well, I'm not going to say especially anyone, but people from all walks of life I think may have a hard time with charity and giving away and giving back. Warren Buffett gives away 90% of everything he makes, from what I'm told and from what I read. There's a lot of people who give away 10% of what they make. There's a lot of people who tie to their churches, and these are things that you may be uncomfortable with for a certain amount of reasons, and maybe that's not the way you want to give back. Maybe you find a good charity that you go and donate your time to. Maybe you participate in things that we did like this weekend. Everybody who came out, thank you for that. Lim, how was Tony Robbins?
Oh, it was excellent. I was waiting for you to ask me.
So charity and giving back for a lot of people is going to take discipline. It's going to take a strong shift of character, and it starts very little. Like for myself, I give to a couple different organizations, a couple of different things that I'm passionate about. My family being one of them, that I always I give, and I never want to ever receive anything in return, because it's just, to me, I know it's the right thing. So those are things that you also would have to get yourself accustomed to. I'd like to get a couple of examples from you guys of what another type of a discipline could be. I'm not sure if anyone has an example off the top of their head that I might have missed, but this is something that I quickly put down that I feel are some of the stronger points or highlights in my disciplinary actions. Lim, you have any examples of discipline, or anyone else?
Well, now that I went to this spectacular show, I have committed myself to do some disciplines that I haven't done before.
Okay.
Like my health, my eating. For me, what are you laughing? Let's check this in.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at her crunching. She's eating like that.
It's alright. Because I learned that whenever you laugh, your energy, you radiate positive energy. And as soon as I wake up, whenever I wake up, I'll be like, oh my God, it's Monday. But now that I need to have the positive energy, I wake up, oh my God, it's Monday, yes!
We'll get there.
The thing is that you don't understand. You don't understand if you have positive energy, a lot of things can bring to your life, okay? And I have to work on my diet, my food, my family, my time. I do say there's a lot of things that I have to work, and right now I'm ready to do it because I finally find what is it that I have to do for my family, for myself, especially for myself and then my family. There is something that I was scared of doing it. I was always thinking that because I don't speak very good looking English, I cannot take the stand, but I don't care. I don't give a fuck now. Yeah.
Mrs. Roberts.
Yeah, Mrs. Roberts. Because this is the way I am right now. I feel. Shut up. Listen, I feel so energetic, and the thing is that the other thing that I learned is that if you want to be successful in life, you have to get around not excellent people, but outstanding people like Luis. Luis is an excellent, but the thing is that he needs the energy. I don't know. I'm not gonna. No. Imagine if you could teach all these things about, discipline and everything, but with that energy. Do you think? How do you attract your agents? Mm-hmm. Do you want me to work with you on that?
Yes.
Really? And listen, I learned that everything that we are right now is because if you're not happy with yourself, it's because you have something in your childhood that happened to you, and that happened to me. But I get it all out, and now I'm a new person. Okay? But the thing is that you have to commit with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. I know Paul right now did this bullshit. Let's continue with the meeting because I could feel it. But the thing is that, I don't care what you think. No, but in a positive way. Because I know if I could teach you so many things that I learned, but most of the things that I learned is because of Lou. Because he's a great teacher. And he always told me that we need to get around excellent people. Now we need to get around outstanding people. And you need to take action. I was always think that I want to do something like my diet. I always say, I'm going to start my diet, I'm going to start eating healthy. But at the end of the week or the month, I stop. But the thing is that these have to be one of my priorities. Because of me, because of my family, because now, whenever I want to take action, I say, I must do it. And I put it as an example, when I was going to get married, I lost 35 pounds. 35 pounds, and I was like, oh my God, how did I do that? Because it was a priority that I have to do. And whenever I want to do something now, because right now, I'm going crazy, I want to flip 50 houses. And I'm gonna do it because I have so much ideas that I'm gonna put it together, and I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna do it. But what I'm trying to tell you is, guys, whenever you wake up, think all the positive things that are going in your life, not only material. Because I was in the beginning, before I went to this event, I was only thankful for the big things. Like I was thankful for my family. I was thankful for my house, the material things. But they're not that important. Now that I wake up this morning, I did some meditation, and I was thankful to have Louis on my life. That there is no always a smile on his face, but I want to work on his. I mean, on his smile, on his energy. Because imagine how much more he could do if he has the energy. He doesn't have the energy because maybe something in his childhood is, he's not getting, let me the word.
You have to let go.
You have to let it go. Let it go.
That's
but the thing, and that's true, But it's okay. It's okay because we're human, we make mistakes, but you have to let it out because once again, if you have the energy, imagine what you could do with this agent. What's wrong with you?
Home.
Okay, so guys, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. That was just what I needed, honestly. That was amazing.
Everybody
It feels like we're at the after party for the Tony Robbins.
Breast dance.
That's hilarious, bro.
You see, I made you laugh. That's the thing.
Between you and Paul, you guys should have the podcast, not me and Danny and Paul. That would be perfect. Yeah, no, that'd be perfect. That'd be like fire and water. Like it's crazy. All right, anyone want to give us another example of what a disciplinary action could be?
I don't think anybody.
I know nobody's gonna top Lynn because Lynn came here and she still didn't give me an answer, but she just gave us a whole.
You're talking about waking up early, but like one of the things, like for example, I went to sleep at like 3 a.m. last night, and I just couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
But waking up early, also going to sleep early is a big part of that.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for me sometimes. Like I just feel like I'm missing out on something. And I'm always like, I don't want to go to sleep, I don't want to go to sleep. But I know that if I was to set a better schedule for myself and go to bed before 3 a.m., that I would get more than a couple hours of sleep.
Do you have a hard time going to sleep? Is that one of the issues, or do you have just a lot to do before going to sleep?
I just have a hard time going to sleep sometimes. Like I think my mind is always racing. So I've thought about maybe starting to meditate, like right before, just to kind of calm myself down. Turn off the TV maybe.
Absolutely, yeah. The TV is the worst thing you can have in your room. That's the worst thing you can. Yeah, reading a book, meditation before going to bed is really important. But I'll be honest with you, Paul. A lot of the things that we spoke about that before that, like eating right, exercise, that's all going to help you go to sleep better. And because what's happening is that you have so much going on in your mind because you have too much pent up energy and too much pent up stuff going through your head. But if you're exercising not only is it healthy, but it's also meditation, especially when you do it by yourself, because you're letting go of all this stuff and built up frustration and stress that you have. I know it's always helped me, but now I go a little step further and I actually find time at the end of my workout to actually either go in a steam room or the hot tub or just do yoga, whatever it is that I can just quiet everything out and just focus on nothing. As hard as that sounds or weird as that sounds, but focus on nothing. You're breathing. Focus on just like the way that the air feels on your skin, or just focus on anything else but that. And that's where all your ideas come from. That's where all the great things that you can accomplish come from. So always make time for that, because if your whole day is hustle bustle in there, how much can I do during the day? You'll never have time to have a creative mentality. You'll always just be reactive instead of being a proactive person. Yeah, like you said, going to bed early is a discipline too. But I think if you give yourself a regimen to follow, and you wake up early at a certain time, and you do everything during the day that should be getting done, exercise, eating right, I think your body's going to tell you, look, it's time to shut off now. I can't fight it. When I'm sleepy, I go to bed. Yesterday I went to bed at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, just because we spent the whole day in the gym, the pool, and then obviously we hung out with the girls for a little bit, and then it was like, it was time for me to just call it a night, and it felt great. I slept for almost like 10 hours because it just went, I don't get to sleep that much during the week, so it just felt like my body needed it, and huh? What?
At the gym.
We were at the gym for 2 hours. Yeah. No, Danny and I didn't go to the gym last week that much, so we made up for it, and it was great. It felt awesome afterwards. I know it sounds weird to go to a gym on a Sunday when you're supposed to be with your family, but we made it as a discipline, and we made it a family thing. I went with my wife, with Danny, and then had the girls in the daycare, and then we hung out with the girls in the pool. It was amazing. It was a great Sunday. It was a good activity we did. So yeah, definitely, Paul. Going to bed early. That's important. Does anyone else have anything they can add?
Procrastination.
Procrastination, absolutely. Like prioritizing, huh?
That's the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Procrastination is the most abundant thing in the world. You know, I think it's a good saying that says, "Why and you can't leave for tomorrow what you could do today." And it's important. It's true. I mean, I struggle with that sometimes too, and I think to myself, you know what? If I do this tomorrow, you know, what am I taking away from tomorrow? You know, I could be doing something maybe much more productive tomorrow. So procrastination is amazing. That's a good example of things that we need to get away from. Anything else before we move on to the next topic?
No.
All right. How can discipline help you in real estate? Does anybody, I know there's a few of you who may not yet, I'm not sure in this room, who may not have their schedule yet, right? But real estate, discipline in real estate is absolutely imperative. The reason why is because I'm your quasi employer, boss, but not really, because you guys are self-employed. The only thing I can do for you guys is give you guys leadership and mentorship, but it all has to be done by you. So if you don't have a schedule in place that you're following, then first of all, you're just doomed to fail, because we need to know what things need to be done repetitively, what times, and for how long. If we don't have the schedule in place, we're just gonna repeat the same activities every day to make us no money. So first of all, check one. Do you guys have a schedule, right? That's what you need to review. Is your schedule right for you? You know, not everyone's schedule is going to be exactly the same, but there are certain activities that you guys cannot get away from. You know, the first and most important thing is going to be the prospecting. The prospecting is basically like going to work. Right, think about that as like going to work. This is when you put on your hard hat, you put on your tool belt, and you get to work. No one can do this for you as good as you can. Now, there are ways to have inside sales agents for you guys making the calls, which is awesome. Great way to maximize your time, leverage yourself. Lim has been doing phenomenally well with that. It's definitely something that you guys will need to do once you've become, you know, a successful person, gotten to that level. But prospecting, as uncomfortable it may be, as hard as it may seem, as many no's as you might get, there is no way better. There is not a way better to get clients, to get leads, to get sellers. You know, door knocking, making phone calls, just talking to everybody in general is prospecting. You know, everyone you meet is a possible client. You know, Harry the other day had a run-in with a police officer and turned that police officer into a client. Just sold her a $400,000 house last week. So everywhere there's business, and if you guys really want to succeed in this, you got to start looking at yourself as a business. If you look at yourself as an employee, you'll always have an employee's mentality, and you'll wait for everybody to tell you what to do and when to do it. You have to get out of that train of thought and start thinking, I'm a walking, breathing business, and everything I do throughout my day is an opportunity to prospect to someone. Prospecting is just a fancy word for, you know, talking to people and telling them that you're in the business. That's all it is. So if you're not prospecting right now, you're not working yet. You haven't had one day at work. The minute you start prospecting is the day you become a real estate agent. So start with the most essential thing, which is the prospecting. Now, marketing is that working smarter to the working harder. So prospecting is working harder. Marketing is working smarter. The two combined together will give you an absolute successful equation. Marketing is so great that if you figure out the key to marketing, you will be able to do so much business that it will just drive you crazy. Your business can go from 0 to $1 million in no time. There are ways for you guys to automate this and to make this work for you. And there's really great ways for you guys to utilize, which is the best marketing platform available right now, which is Facebook. Everybody knows that Facebook right now is, it's got billions of people that use it. It's just super important for you guys to start learning not only the fundamentals of Facebook, but everything that Facebook can do and everything you can use to figure that out. Now, I once said that Facebook should be taught in college, because it's literally like, it's a humongous, it's like an ocean of options that you can do with it, you know, and people get intimidated from it because of it. I remember years back I tried to fool around on Facebook and Facebook campaigns, and it was just so difficult. I was like, you know what, let me just stick to what I know. And it was hard, I'm going to be honest with you. But ever since I started again, seriously, once I've had my real estate companies, I've seen how essential it is for business. And if you learn how to maximize its exposure, it'll do do tremendous things for you. I'll give you guys some examples. Don't jump to your question, Paul. Just this weekend, we boosted 2 open houses. Between those 2 open houses, for Sophie and Rocco, you guys had an amazing turnout. You guys had so many likes. You guys had so many shares. You guys had so many comments on these posts. You even had phone calls, right? And Facebook now tells you the statistics on the post, and it tells you how many link clicks you had. And if you guys notice, each link in each description was the link to your conversion. So everyone that's linking and going to your conversion is a possible client that's going to be registered into your database. I'm not sure if either one of you guys got any emails saying that someone has registered to your conversions, but it just shows you that $100 well spent in a campaign will get you a ton of people at an open house, a ton of people on your social media, and just a lot of people to follow up on. If you would have spent that same $100 on a Zillow campaign, you would have got a bunch of tire-kicking buyers who are probably calling you and 10 other agents. And you might have only gotten maybe a handful of people who maybe reached out to you or filled something out. $100 in Facebook got you, how many, 10, I'm not sure how many of you, people at an open house, 15 people at an open house. And it got you so many people who are commenting and liking the ad, which all can be friends of yours on Facebook, and you can send messages to them. So I believe that those people aren't being marketed to as much as the people who are already on Zillow, because it's a platform to get marketed to, is what Zillow is. So people who are coming off of Zillow are like, oh my God, another agent calling me, like they're not expecting that when they're commenting on your Facebook ads. So learn how to use it, and what I want you guys to write down under the notes section is something that Danny and I recently discovered, which is called Facebook/Blueprint. And I never knew this. You can grab one of my pens. I have one back there. I never knew this, but Facebook actually has kind of an unaccredited university within Facebook that teaches you how to use their ads campaign and their ads platform. And they have so many great things in there that we haven't even really dove into yet, and we just started researching the first few things. And just the first few things just led to like a rabbit hole of more things that Facebook offers. One of the things that Facebook recently released is called the Facebook Audience. Facebook Audience Networking. What that does is that Facebook now has teamed up with all these other websites that do marketing as well, like newspapers and online resources for everything. And what they do is, if you wanted to research with, let's just say, the Huffington Post or something, right? You wanted to market with them. They start at like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to build an ad for you to market to 100,000, 1 million people, whatever their reach is, right? Now what Facebook does is that Facebook takes your campaign, takes your ad, and when they have an availability to the demographic that you have chosen, which is much smaller than their entire demographic, because you don't need to market to 1 million people if your demographic fits 10,000 people. Now what it does is it gives you a much cheaper campaign, and it allows you guys to utilize other platforms besides Facebook. So now your clients are seeing you on Facebook, and then they're going to the Huffington Post, and then they see your ad on Huffington Post, and they're like, wow, this guy Paul is everywhere. This guy's killing it. He's marketing with everyone. Like, you can't get away from him. So it's unbelievable the things that Facebook has available for us, but you guys have to learn how to utilize it. If you guys are just doing prospecting, then you're leaving a lot on the table. If you're just doing marketing, you're not doing prospecting, then you're leaving the fundamentals off the table. So combined with these two things, if you guys really start to do what it says on your schedule, is where you dedicate time to prospecting, dedicate time to marketing. And I now feel that marketing should probably be as equivalent as prospecting should be in the time frame. I used to do 2 hours prospecting for you guys, 1 hour follow-up, 1 hour marketing. Now I think that marketing could actually be 2 hours, because it should be 1 hour research, 1 hour actually implementing. I think that if you guys can do that, lock yourselves in one of those rooms downstairs and really start to learn what you can do with a small budget and a well-allocated budget. You'll get a lot out of that. Now, Paul, you had a question or comment on that?
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say, I'm a big fan of Lynn's boyfriend, Tony. And
her new mentor.
So one of the things that he talks about that's really important is engagement. That he believes that that's one of the most critical things to be successful in business. And like 2 examples that he brings up is, one was Yahoo was out there, but then Google came out and kind of put them out of business pretty much because they were engaging people more. Same thing with MySpace, right? So you had MySpace and then Facebook. So it's not like that wasn't there. It wasn't, you know, that MySpace was there, you know, but it didn't have a way that people were engaging, and Facebook came out and what made it like easier to engage with people. So like I think that is like a huge thing, and you know, trying to just like talk to people on your page. You know, like we recently did the podcast where we were talking about asking questions that people can respond to.
Yeah.
I think that's really huge. You know, so to basically say to people, you know, ask a question or post maybe. I know Facebook sometimes has those surveys. You could do stuff like that can engage people. Once you start getting people to respond, or you know, if you ask a question, that's important because then you get their attention, and they're actually, you know, you could start a conversation. You know, you could say, you know, how old were you when you bought your first home? Yeah, and then maybe people will start responding, and then you can get, you know, a conversation going. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's a great way to also not only get people to see you, but also communicate with you. You know, there's definitely you know, a myriad of like different ways that you guys can start, you know, putting these things into practice. But the first thing is, you know, just implementing one thing, you know, and just doing that one thing great first, mastering that, getting over to the next thing, and before you know it, you guys will be masters at marketing. Because as a real estate agent or a real estate professional, you guys be in the business that I said you guys need to turn yourselves into. You need to market like a real business. You know, if people think sometimes like, oh my God, I got to pay for that. Like, how many businesses out there do you think don't market? You know, the ones that don't market are the ones that don't make it. You know, they're not gonna be around in the future. If you start building an audience and you guys start building a following by utilizing some resources to get people engaged with your brand or your product or yourself, you know, that's only going to be to your success. But don't just throw money out there and not knowing what you're researching, investing in. You know, make sure that you study and you research what works, and then do that. You know, and if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work the first time, just keep trying. You know, eventually going to work out for you. What's up, Sil?
It's like Coca-Cola. They market real big. Yeah. The first year, they only sold 25 bottles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look at that, 25 bottles first year, Coca-Cola. Now they probably sell 25,000 a second. You know, like, it's crazy.
But you know what's funny is that you bring it up, like Coca-Cola spends more money on marketing than any other company today still, even though they're number one. And that's why they do it, because that's why they're number one. You know, you always have to, you know, get out there, even if you're the best.
Absolutely. So if you guys really want to make this a disciplinary action, what you guys should do is every time you guys have a closing, take anywhere between 5 to 10% or more, whatever you guys can afford. Take 5 to 10% as a minimum, put it aside, and utilize that just for marketing. If you do it that way, you won't feel it as much, because if you're keeping all your money together and then you have to pay for ad campaigns, it just feels like you're taking away from money that, you know, you already have in your mind mentally allocated for something else. Create a savings account or create another checking account where you can throw in 5% every month, and just say, I'm going to use this money wisely, and I'm going to grow my, you know, my marketing. I think that you'll do much more with that than you will with postcards, but postcards work great too. You know, it's really what you guys want to, the demographic you guys want to hit. All right, so staying away. This is another disciplinary action you guys need to learn in real estate: is staying away from time suckers. Time suckers are not just people; they're everything. It's all around us. Everything is a time sucker. Email, text messages, these are all time suckers. Now, I'm not saying don't ever send out an email or don't ever check your text messages, but I do think that there's a right time of the day to do this. You know, you guys can do this towards the quieter parts of the day. No one's going to die if you don't answer an email right away. If it's that important, they'd probably call you or send someone to find you, but it's not that important. You guys can hold off on that. If you guys can get your important things done out of the way in the morning, take a quick break, check in. Maybe if you guys want to check in with whoever you need to return calls, prioritize and just return the calls and the emails of the people who definitely need you the most, and then go back to your marketing. And then after you're done with your marketing, then you can spend the rest of your day following up with everyone with your phone calls, emails, text messages, and then go to your appointments. Because if you have a successful morning, there's going to be an appointment later on that day. So, you know, make sure that you guys have your day well planned out. So emails, text messages, time and place, not during your prospecting hours, not during your marketing hours. Now, I will give you a little bit of a little tip though. if you're using Mojo, which everyone in here should be utilizing, if you're using Mojo, while you're doing Mojo, at that point you can check your emails because Mojo is making the calls for you. So while Mojo is making your calls, you can check your emails and reply to people. While Mojo is making calls for you, you can text message people and do that. But if you're doing it on your own, you can't do it. So if you find a better way to do things, then you can multitask. But if you're manually doing everything, you'll never be able to do this. But don't let the emails distract you. What I mean by that is if you're checking them and replying to them, that's one thing. But all you guys know that what emails are is one task after another. So if people are emailing you, hey, I need a CO for that. Hey, I need you to, contact the attorney on this. I need you to do that. If you take those things and say, oh wait, I got to stop prospecting and do this right now, then don't even look at your email if you're that kind of person. But if you're able to look at the emails and say, okay, I can get to this later, I'll leave it on red, I can reply to this one now because this one needs just a response, I could do this one later. Don't stop what you're doing to do the tasks that people are wanting you to do, either with email or text messages. Now, phone calls. If you're getting phone calls constantly, what I've given advice to a few of you is to put a message on your phone that says between the hours of 9 to 12 o'clock, I will not be answering calls. I will return your messages after that hour. If you want, is going to put that, because if you're always going to be unavailable between 9 and 12, you'll start training the people who call you, like, oh, she's prospecting. Oh, he's busy with, making calls. So, if you want to, you don't have to change that, but just, maybe have an automatic responder on your phone. As a text message that says, I will give you a call back after 12 p.m. Whatever you guys want to do, just phone calls. Don't let them be the equivalent of what we just spoke about. Co-workers. There's co-workers in all walks of business that unintentionally or intentionally probably do this. And what they do is they just come over to you and they just start talking to you and talking to you and talking to you and won't stop. Now, if you guys experience this from people who are coming up to you with non-business related stuff or are too long-winded when you are business related stuff, just let them know that, hey, listen, I just need to get back to work, man. What is it that you need? Don't be rude, but just tell them the truth. Be like, listen, I'm prospecting right now. Can I get back to you in a little while? Or put a sign on your door like Lim does so nobody bothers her when she's busy. Whatever you need to do it. I've built 8 rooms downstairs for you guys not to be distracted by other people. If you're not utilizing them, utilize them. Just check in with the front desk and reserve one for the day. Social media, unless you're marketing, social media could be a huge time sucker. If you ever think about the amount of time you spend scrolling through people's stuff, and then at the end of the month, put a time to that, and then at the end of the year, put a time to that, and see how much time your time is worth, and then multiply all the time that you just spent looking. If you're learning from people you're following, if you're engaging your audience with social media, awesome. If you're just there scrolling and being nosy, then that's a real time sucker, and I don't think that's good for you guys to do. Of course, obviously, you guys want to be engaged with your fan base and your family, so that's acceptable. But there's always a right time. Don't use social media when you should be doing your other things. So everything in its time and place. Yeah. Practice makes perfect. So what I mean by this is that don't be shy to do role play. Role play is important because role play is what's going to make you great. If you just go out there and do it, I have no problem with that. If you just go out there and do it, but it's going to be a lot harder for you guys in the beginning if you just go and try to approach somebody in a listing presentation, or if you're trying to get somebody to get off the fence and buy a house. It's a lot harder to do it when you haven't ever practiced and utilized the right words, the right verbiage, the right action words. You need to start figuring this out. So what I always suggest to you guys is pick someone. It doesn't have to be the same person every time. Just pick someone and say, hey, listen to me for a few minutes and see how I sound. Let me know. Give me some criticism. Give me some feedback.
Can I role play with you?
Yeah.
Thank you, Rocco.
Yeah. So just try that as many times as it takes. I'm sure there's someone else in this office who would love to do it with you because they want to do it as well. So don't be shy about it. You guys can go down in the conference room. You guys can use there's 2 conference rooms down there. You guys can utilize either one and just start role playing and see what topics make sense and how you guys can both improve. talking to everybody about your business and your goals. This is a practice. This is something you need to get into the habit of doing as well. Every time you, I don't know, anyone from the waitress to the person who does your dry cleaning is someone that you should talk to about your business and your goals. People you meet at networking events, people you meet at barbecues, you tell them about your business and your goals, because not only is it important for them to know because they may be a client, but the more you repeat it, the more your subconscious believes it, and you become trained to say that, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Lim just told everyone she's going to flip 50 houses. Now Lim's on the hook. If Lim doesn't flip 50 houses, we all be like, oh, Lim's full of shit. She went to that Tony Robbins thing and came back cursing and rah sis boom bop, but she was all hot air, and it got out of her in a week. So now she's on the hook. But now I'm pretty sure we won't be the only ones that she's going to tell that to. She'll go and she'll tell anybody with a pair of ears. So that means that now Lim is going to say to herself, I got to flip 50 houses because I said I was going to do it. So it's important for you guys to do that as well. Now ABC, right? ABC. Practice this one. This will be fun. Practice this when you guys aren't even working, right? ABC stands for always be closing, right? Always be closing means that like you kind of like want to have people agree with you, even with them not knowing they're agreeing with you. So close them in a way where they're not even understanding that they've been closed. So for instance, your daughter or your son, they want a cookie, and you're like, can't have a cookie because I said no, right? That's not a close. That's just being negative and saying no. Now, what if you somehow utilized a close on them without them knowing they're being closed, and say to them, listen, I know you want a cookie, but you know what happens is that the kids that eat cookies at this time, they get rotten teeth. And would you like rotten teeth? No, I wouldn't like rotten teeth. You know what? I think if you want to have a beautiful smile, I think you should eat an apple. You know, kids who eat an apple this time have beautiful teeth. Really? Yeah. Just close your son or your daughter. You understand? So there's always a way to practice this. Just like in real estate, if someone says, I don't want to buy this house because, you know, it's missing a fence. It's missing a fence. Okay, I understand it's missing a fence, but you know, a lot of homes in this price range don't have a fence like the one you want. What we can do is we can try to utilize, we can offer less for the home, or we can ask the seller to install a fence. Or if that doesn't work, you know, maybe we can get a renovation mortgage where we can install a fence. You know, it could be anything, but just as if you practice this in all walks of life, like you'll get better at knowing how to handle situations where people just say no to you, or people just say I want, and you give in and you just say okay, no problem. You know, there's yes isn't always a solution to every answer. You know, there has to be ways for you guys to learn how to use what you have as your skills that you have as a salesperson to get more out of everything in life. We always want to read. I don't know how many of you guys are readers. For those of you not readers, audiobooks work great. I love reading because I hated it as a kid, and now I love it as an adult because it's like meditation, and it just relaxes me. I get a lot out of it, and I don't retain everything. Like audiobooks, I can be honest with you, I probably retain more. But reading is good because the stuff that does engage me, I remember. So and that's all you had to get from it, is some stuff that is important to you. Like I read a book called The E-Myth that I think all you guys should read. It's like a 101 to anybody who wants to have a business. I think I've retained every single word out of that book. It was just amazing. It was just one of the best books I've ever read because it appealed to me and appealed to everything I wanted to learn about. Research is important. You guys should always research everything. Research what you're doing, how to get better, what the top producers are doing, what top producing companies are doing. If you're always researching and learning, you're going to do great. You're going to be always at the top of your class. What is going to be your disciplinary change as of today? Right? And I'll use myself as an example for right now. My disciplinary action is I'm going to change my eating habits. I'm going to eat a lot better, cleaning up the things that I put into my body, making sure that I'm not putting in toxic stuff or things that don't need to be there. I want to obviously make a health change. You guys see me as being healthy, but I always hold myself up to a higher standard, and I always want to try to improve if I possibly can in any which way. That's one of my goals. I'm sure I'll have more as I think about it, but now I want to take my goals as more of a challenge now. If you guys take your goals as a challenge, I think it would work better because I, for one, whenever I'm challenged, whenever somebody says you can, or I know you couldn't do it, I just take it personally and I make it my life's journey to like do it and get it done. So right now my main focus is getting healthier, eating better, maybe getting some waking up a little earlier. I've been slipping on that, so I'm going to put all these things into effect, and I really do think that strongly once I clean up my eating habits a little bit, I'll wake up earlier easier anyway, because I know I've done it before when my diet used to be cleaner. So that's my example. Danny, can I get you to man the camera? That's going to be my example, and I'll start with Paul. Paul's going to be our first volunteer. We'll go around the room and see what changes we're making. And if you say, I'm perfect, I don't want to change anything, we respect that. Anyone in here is perfect. I strongly commend you for that, but I know that everyone in here could probably work on one thing or two. And if you, obviously the more you share, the healthier it is. I'm sure it'll come quicker.
So, I mean, obviously, I've talked about it with you a couple times, but, just diet and exercise, and just taking it, one step at a time, and, like, actually sticking to a plan, and my sleep schedule. So those two things right now, I think, are enough to get started with, because, I've had a hard time with both of those. And I really do think that I will feel better and stronger, and that will help me, produce more at work, because I won't be tired in the morning. I'll be able to, stick to my plan of prospecting, and prospecting too, on a work level. I think, I've been trying to, get into it, and, I haven't been holding myself accountable, to this sense that, like, I really haven't been putting in the effort to prospect as much as I should, but I just set up a couple, call lists. So I'm going to see, I'll let you guys know, because I really think that it is, there is really no other way to get out to people, unless you start calling them and, reaching out to people. I mean, I can't think of any other possible way except for standing on the corner and handing out cards. So
yeah, of course. Yeah. And the beauty of doing it the way we do it is we target the people we actually want. We want these kind of people in this area. We want sellers, we want distressed people, we want expireds. We can target it much better with the phone calls than you can by standing in front of the train station, like Paul said. There's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, if you want a certain type of business, that's just the way you have to get it done.
And I just want to let you guys know, I worked for a company before this doing sales, and it was for media sales, the commercials and whatnot, and they were a huge multi-million-dollar company, and some of the salesmen were making, they showed me some of their checks, and and their yearly salaries between $200,000 to $250,000 easily. And I got to be honest, like, the things that Lou has set us up with are way better than what that company set me up with. One, like a Mojo, like a dialer, they didn't even have anything near that. You had to like go get a list. You had to go to the town, get a list of like the newspapers, look at the newspapers and find local businesses, then call those local businesses one at a time. And then, it's such a game changer. I'm surprised that those guys aren't making $1 million if they were using this program. So yeah, like, it really is something that, that Lou has, put out there for us that's really great, and I personally want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Pamela, we're going to move on to you, see what you're changing. You wrote all that down, Paul? You wrote all your things?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, good.
Diet, exercise.
Good. The more you write it down, the better. Let's get Pam in there. Pam? Pamela?
I think I need to discipline a little bit more on my time. I do wake up early every day. I'm usually the first one up and try to do a gazillion things at a time. And I think that's my weak point, because I start with my schedule, and then usually it's family members that will be like calling me up and be like, hey, can you do this for me? And I'm turning away from my stuff to do everybody else's. And at the end of the day, I kind of noticed that I didn't get any of my stuff done for doing others. Weak heart, whatever it is, I need to change it, because I sleep very tight, as tired as I get throughout the day, just because I was out and about doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing. And I need to get on that. I need to set a time, maybe say like, okay, I can help you, but this is the time frame that I'm going to be available, and don't call me, or don't bug me on that. I think that's my weakness, and I think that's what I need to work on the most. It's just time management and saying no to things that I can't handle and tackle, because I kind of understood that I need to relay a little bit more as far as asking help. I think I could do it all, and sometimes it's just hard.
It really is. Absolutely. You got to have others let them know how important it is to respect your time.
And we have you on camera, so if you still have that problem,
Don't know.
Let's continue with Scott. Scott, give us a little insight on what you think your disciplinary actions are going to be.
I think for sure right now working on eating habits and working out. So last week I tried a new regimen. I was pretty embarrassed because last week I started working out. I went to the gym and the guy's like, yeah, we haven't seen you in 200 days. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty insane.
200 days?
200 days.
Oh, because they know on the computer.
Because they know the computer. So I'm like, that's pretty embarrassing, you know. And
well, they haven't seen me in 700
because I used to be big on fitness, big on eating healthy, and to actually hear that from a stranger is just like, wow, who have I become? So like now is my opportunity to get back to what I need to do and stay disciplined with eating right and working out for sure. But I know one of the big things I have a problem with is staying focused on what I have to do at that point in time. Like you're saying, prospecting, say, leave a message from 9 to 12. I'm doing prospecting. I think that's important because like I really can't. It's hard for me to do that. Like you said, like an email could lead to another task, that leads to another task, and then before you know it, the whole day's going, and you haven't accomplished what you actually wanted to do at that specific point in time. That's definitely one thing I want to focus on. And like as you said, you gave me a perfect example. You know, leave it on your answer machine saying, "Oh, I'm busy from 9 to 12." Or just the time suckers are big things. You know, like text messages. You spend 10 minutes before you know it saying what you want to eat for lunch.
Yeah.
You know, that's definitely a time sucker. And phone calls. Not big on social media, but definitely want to stay focused. That's my biggest thing. Get fit and eat right. Yeah. So those are my top 3 right now.
Very good, man. Write it down. Both.
Perfect. Just kidding.
You're always good for an example. Perfect. Yes, we know.
Basically, like everything they've said, minus the sleeping, because I sleep well, and I get up at 6:30 in the morning, but I don't physically get up from bed. But I'm up. I'm a happy person in the morning, not as happy as Lim, but you know, eating right. You see how I eat. All the pictures that I put of food, I have to start cooking more, eating less out.
You only flan.
I will eat flan, sure. I haven't posted what I had this weekend, which was amazing.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, life is all about balance.
Yeah, exactly.
You eat right 6 days a week. Why not have a cheat meal on Sunday or Saturday? Whatever it is that you decide to. Sorry, Rob. That's last week. Sorry, Rob. Yeah. It's all about balance.
Yeah, I know what to do and how to do it. I just have to discipline myself to do it. You know, when I started the real estate school again, that's what threw me off. I was like, you need to eat for brain and thinking and this and that. So I was in the mentality of that. Starbucks all the time, studying Starbucks and drinking the coffee and stuff. So I let go of the coffee and everything. So yeah, eating better and getting back on that mojo and, you know, talking to people and stuff and saying no to people and
saying no.
Yeah, because they always know they could depend on you because you're always saying yes. But then when you say no, oh, you're the bad person. So no, I just have to, like Lynn says, put yourself first. And because I had read somewhere, it's like if a plane is crashing, first when they drop the air mask, you put it on yourself and then save your kids or save everybody else. Because yes, you have to save yourself first in order to save everybody else.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
Oh, that's an awesome example. I love that. That's what I like about it. Rocco. There you go, Rocco. Tell me, buddy. What do you
My
got?
top 3 would probably be just eating better and like having a better diet, and sticking to like a schedule. Like when is work? When do I go to the gym? Like just sticking to a set schedule to make it better for myself to not procrastinate and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then just becoming uncomfortable and like doing things that I'm not comfortable with, and like talking in front of people, like cold calling, just like prospecting, and like becoming more comfortable, so it comes like second nature and like it's natural. And it's just something I need to work on. And
Absolutely, dude. It all comes with time. You know, like I was terrified first few phone calls I would make, and I'm like, is this really what I have to do? But then I kept seeing these guys that were closing 500 deals a year. Like 500 deals. How do you do 500 deals? I guess 2 closings a day almost, you know? So, and that's like including weekends. So it's just unbelievable what you can do once you start becoming uncomfortable and you start using the right systems. You can do anything, man. Anything is possible, but it all starts with that disciplinary action. When before you know it, just becomes second nature. Like you said, you sound comfortable in front of people, because nobody will buy something from someone who sounds uncomfortable, like they don't believe it themselves. You call them up and like, yeah, I could sell your house. I think I could sell your. No, I could sell your damn house. You know, like Lim would say, I could sell your F-bomb house, but. You know, if you don't have that confidence, because you haven't done it enough times, you haven't practiced, you haven't gotten used to it, so that's going to take some time, you know, and just patience, man. Just you could bulldoze through it, man. You got a lot of time ahead of you. You know, all these things are possible. You know, with yeah, you could screw up for the next 10 years and still be okay.
My daughter's 18.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I think with the open house yesterday, like, I'm seeing things now, like, oh, I could have did this better, could have did that better, but thinking it's the first one of many that I'm going to do, and it's a learning experience for future.
I was going to ask you for a date, Rocco.
A date?
Are you a cougar?
No, I thought he was like, 30.
So you still want to role play with him?
I don't know what it's doing, though.
He's over 18, he's okay.
It's legal.
Alright, give me Nicole.
You don't know what a cougar is? Go look in the mirror.
Una cugresa.
We'll teach her. So what am I going to be working on? I think the most important thing for me to focus on now would definitely be the prospecting. I started and something jumps in the way and I kind of allow it to, and I don't jump back on the bandwagon. I don't know to use the systems properly, so I've been doing the singular calls, which I know is not efficient. And every time it seems like I make an appointment to like buckle down and get it done, something comes up. Like I buckled down, I got it done, I even found a partner in Rocco, and then I realized I double booked. I'm going to be out of town tomorrow. Just for accountability, I figured we need a partner so we could just really execute it, and we can learn from each other, and so on and so on. So it's going to be getting that schedule down to where I know I can make it happen. Work with like a partner if possible to like pull me in and to keep me focused, because even sometimes when I'm by myself, like did someone call me? Just the distraction. Did someone text me? Do I have to do a showing this afternoon? Just because my mind is somewhere else sometimes. So my antidote for that is keeping the phone so that it's just for the prospecting and accountability with the partner. Prospecting.
You mentioned something that I think everyone I think struggles with, and that's when you have something in your calendar, and then someone calls and says, "Hey Nicola, can you meet us at Wednesday at 11 o'clock?" And the first thing you do is, "Oh, I have Wednesday, I have prospecting at 11." Okay, no problem, don't worry, it's fine, right? Prospecting's out the window for that day. What you need to do is say, "I'm sorry, I can't do anything before noon," and they'll say, "Oh, okay, well, I can't do it on Wednesday that time. How about Thursday?" People always find a way to work around your schedule. If you don't respect your time and you don't respect your activities, you're always going to think that those things are not important, and you're always going to let them go, and those are going to be secondary. If I'm not doing anything else, if there's not anything interesting to check on my email or on my phone, then I'll prospect. So make prospect the priority, like no matter what, unless it's an emergency, obviously we can't get away from. But if anyone wants to make appointments with you, make sure it's after that time. Like even today, psychologically, I don't let people make appointments with me at certain times, because I think that I always have things to do in the morning. So always respect your time. Just make sure that other people do the same. So that's good. You really need to buckle down, and you would be great. You just need to make sure that you make the time for it. Diego is next, but he's a perfect example. I've mentored Diego for years. Let's get Diego in the shot.
This is what I specialize in.
Diego is a perfect example because Diego.
For example, eating his nails.
Oh, he loves eating nails. It's a delicacy.
He loves picking his nose.
It's a delicacy in Colombia. Uña grato.
I don't remember because he.
So Diego is a perfect example because when I've mentored Diego, his one of his biggest hurdles has been the same thing everyone says here is making the consistent time for prospecting, or making sure that you don't compromise prospecting for anything else. And there were times when Diego and I did it consistently for almost a year, and we did so incredibly well. It was amazing. And then after I let Diego go on his own, he wouldn't do it as often. I'd catch him doing it very sporadically, and I saw his business also go the same direction. After I've caught him a few times with meetings, and I've told him that you need to be self-motivated and self-aware that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Now I catch him making phone calls every single day, and he comes to me all the time with new listings that he got, and I'm like, wow, you're like the quiet storm. Nobody even hears from you, and then you come with like all these listings. So, it just goes to show you that consistency will win every time over a bad accent or fear or whatever you think is like going to be the reason for you not to make these calls. Just consistency is incredible. Like Diego will tell you himself. I'm not sure what Diego wants to improve on, but I know that one of the things he doesn't have to put so much effort into nowadays is training himself to make time for prospecting. So I wonder what else you got on your...
Isn't he the prospector?
He is a prospector. No one could be better than that. That goes perfectly.
Diego Escobar.
Yeah. Well, I still got...
You should do a training for us on that.
Yeah, you should.
He's great.
No.
You just want to grow. Wow. You're fired.
Something that I try to work on that every single day is sticking to my schedule, because sometimes it's difficult. Like Lou said, we always have different things. Every single day is a different thing. We have inspections, we have clients, but I think it is important to stick to a schedule, because like you said, if you don't do it, if you don't prospect at the time that you have it in your schedule, then you're not going to do it that day, and it's not going to be a productive day. That's regarding business. And my personal life, something that I want to improve on is my eating habits, because I don't really pay attention to that. I eat whatever I feel like it, and I drink whatever I feel like it. Like drink a lot of coffee and stuff. So that's something that I want to
Your nails?
Nails is fine.
Yeah.
You smoke?
Everyone needs some good nails.
No, that
I have the secret so you could stop smoking.
Tony Robbins.
No. For real.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We gotta talk then.
And your nails too.
But he likes smoking.
No.
Broccoli's to go.
If he didn't like smoking, he would have said smoking.
Yeah.
Smoking.
No, it's just because it's difficult. Now that I
No, it's
quit.
not difficult.
It is difficult, but
It is difficult.
look how difficult it is for us prospecting. None of us can get it on, and it's all difficult. And look how you have that.
It's difficult. We'll help
You're like the only prospector on those.
Yes, a patch.
Isn't that difficult?
I just picture all of us following you.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
So put it free in your calendar. We all need a session of prospecting.
Absolutely, I'm down.
Yes.
So I'm free tomorrow at...
I can show you how the system
1
works.
p.m.
It's not.
Well, I want you to practice for us too.
Yes. Can you do that? Or you're selfish? You want everything?
No, it's not selfish.
Selfish.
I'm a selfish.
Selfish.
No problem. Okay.
You said no problem?
Yeah, no,
You
I'll
agree
do
to
it.
that?
Okay.
I'll do it.
All right, let's close this. What time?
Tomorrow 1.
At 1, he's gonna prospect.
No, not tomorrow. I can't. Wednesday. Anytime Wednesday.
Okay.
After 12. Anytime.
Wednesday we'll have to
After
go
this
there.
prospecting.
Okay.
So that's it. So Diego, you're going to improve what now? Your eating habits?
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
Smoke.
I'm smoking too.
Smoking too now.
Yes.
It sounds like he just threw that in so he could pass the mic. I don't feel the passion in that. I think that smoking is probably mentally one of the hardest things you can probably ever let go of doing.
It's doable.
But anything is possible, man. I mean, like the problem is that he doesn't want to stop smoking until the doctor tells him that you've got lung cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's probably what's going to happen. So why do we react only when we have to, when we can prevent something?
Mm-hmm.
Your son's going to grow up and be like, my father smoked all the time, so I want to smoke too. Like my friends are smoking, my dad smokes, I want to smoke. So you got to keep in mind, not that I'm trying to put you on the spot. But I think that it's our job to set the right example for our kids and for other people. So, you know, if you really want to stop smoking, I mean, that's your decision. No one here can make you or force you, but, you know, make sure that that's something you're ready for. If you're not ready for it yet, then, you know, you really have to kind of hit a low before you let go of that stuff. But I think it's too late by that time, you know? I think it's always too late. And as smokers go, I think there's always a reason to smoke a cigarette. Had a great day, reward yourself with a cigarette. Had a bad day, you need a cigarette. You got into a fight, you need a cigarette. I just had a great meal, I need a cigarette. So you got to learn to replace it with something else. Like, start smoking weed or drink a shot of aguardiente. No, I'm joking. No, don't make it worse. No, you need to replace it. I know a lot of people have gotten over it. Yeah, there's alternatives. I don't mean go to Nicorette gum because, I mean, honestly, I would just say just go cold turkey and replace it with toothpicks, gum, whatever it is that you can put into your mouth and start chewing on to almost replace the fact that, like, you're doing something, because it's a mental thing. It's called an oral fixation that I think a lot of people struggle with, and you need to, like, have something there in its place. My friend's father stopped it with toothpicks. I know other people have done it with gum, and I don't know what you could do, but some people gain weight because after that they start eating instead of doing and replace it with that. So, whatever it is that you think you can do, man, it's up to you. It's your decision. That would be.
Yeah, and I want to add something to that. We don't say it because, I mean, we care about you. We love you, especially me. I mean, I already told you every single day you are my BFF forever and ever. And I want you to be healthy because, I mean, your family is suffering from your mistakes. And I have the trick, honestly, without playing, so you could stop biting your nails. And maybe you could stop smoking too. Because you don't want to, what are you waiting for? For your kid to get sick? To get lung cancer? Huh? Your wife? That's what you're waiting for? Really? Honestly? I mean, there is a point. No, there is a point on the office that, I mean, whenever you smoke too much, that, I mean, I could feel the smell, and I don't want that. I don't want that for you, for your family, and you must change that. You need to put that in your mind that you have to change, because you just do it first for you, and then think about your family, because you are hurting yourself. And we love you. I love you. Yes, I love you so much. I love you. I mean, I always hated Colombian people. Honestly. I'm being very. Yes. This is
being genuine.
Why?
No, because, I mean, because Colombia cocaine. No, but the thing is that, I mean, I made a mistake, and I was, thinking that way because of what happened to me, and I told you. But the thing is that you are here, my closest friend, and I really want you to change the habit.
And us new people want to learn to love you.
Yes.
But you have to be around for that.
Whenever you know Diego,
outside smoking, throw him water.
No. Yes. No, I mean, whenever you know Diego, he's the nicest, kindest person here in the office. I really care for you. And first of all, for me, here in the office is Lou. Because Lou, for me, he changed my life completely. No, honestly, I'm not being, I'm not playing around, but you are one part of my life that I always thank God that you are in my life.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate what you've done for me so far. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I want to do something for you, and I tell you, I mean, you've done so many things for me that it's time to pay back. It's time to give you back.
Give me all the payback you have to, right?
No sex, no? No, but I mean, I really appreciate it. But I mean, we could do something for Diego. I mean, maybe we could put that in our calendars to do something for Diego, for stop biting his nails, and
all you have to do is rub your fingers in the dirt in the morning, and then you'll bite your nails all day long. I promise. That doesn't work.
No, that's not that hard. I tried it before.
Let me see your nails.
Hey, don't judge.
Oh my God! I'm not Iron Man. That's Superman. Come on, come save him. Okay.
I'm Batman.
What
the hell?
I mean, Batman.
I'm Batman. Superman.
Diego's gonna run around like Minnie Mouse with gloves on all day, so he won't bite his nails. All right, good. Diego, you're gonna write that stuff down. That way you can please, so you can commit it to paper. Commit it to paper.
Thank you.
Lim, please.
Okay, so I'm not gonna take so much time of your time because we have to go. I have a few appointments today, and well, the area that I'm gonna focus on is I must do Mojo, because what I have right now is my assistant is doing the Mojo, but like I was telling you the other day, I don't want to go to other areas. But now I'm decided, if I want more business, I have to expand my business. Okay, that's number one. And I must do more advertising. And the way I'm thinking I'm going to take one of my assistants, to follow me wherever I go, whatever I do. And so I could get more contact on Facebook and, And I must lose 10 pounds within 30 days. And I'm going to do it. I must do 2 open houses this month because I need more sellers, because I'm getting ready my team and I need to focus on what they're gonna do. Buyers, sellers, because whenever I do the open house, I'm gonna walk around the house and knock on the neighbor's door to see who is ready to sell. And buyers, so my team could work on them. I must exercise 30 minutes a day. I must meditate each morning for 20 minutes. I must listen to Tony Robbins' book every single day. Every single day I have to listen to him because I love him. And I need...
He's really good.
Yes.
And I'm going to university with Tony Robbins. Okay. So, and the last one, and I must get a few properties so I could start flipping 2 or 3 more this month.
You said 50?
Yeah,
We gotta start small.
I need to get more crew. I have 6 more months. That's it.
Good job, Lim. You have everything written there?
Yes.
All right. So the reason why we're writing these things down is because obviously when you put pen to paper, that does something to you. But not only that, but I want you guys to, if you can, scan them, send them to me, because I'm going to put them on the board for everyone to see it. We will see it every day with people walking by and like, oh yeah, that's right, listen, Diego said he's going to stop doing this, Nicola's going to do that, and so everyone is going to be accountable, and we'll have it up, and we'll check in next week once we do our next training to see how we're doing so far. That way we can keep each other accountable for it. John, I know you came in a little late, but I don't know if you could, if you want to chime in on any of the things that you think you may want to change, disciplinary action or something that you would want to do in order to. You're good, right? That's what I thought. There's a few people. I knew it had to be someone.
I'm going to try to make more meetings.
Good. That's a good start.
We need you.
Some of us don't know.
You're too motivational right now. I did not get my first cup of coffee.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
No, but what I usually do is because my phone starts ringing after 10, so I schedule everything before then, and that's why I have been making meetings. So I'm going to try to reserve Mondays so I can make more meetings.
Yeah.
We learn a lot, man. I'll be honest with you. There's stuff you can check our videos.
I'm missing out.
Yeah, there's videos that we do. This will be up, so you can check this one as well. But that's great, man. I mean, like investing in your education is invaluable. I'm like going back to Lim. I know that she spent a lot of money on that Tony Robbins thing, but it looks like it did a lot for you, and it looks like it was money well spent.
And it will be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's excellent. Stephanie, can you give us some examples of what you want to do? John, do me a favor, just write it down.
John, you're spectacular.
Mistakes happen.
So I want to wake up earlier, but with that being said, I started working out, and that definitely does the works for me. So if I work out and I don't eat good, then I can't work out, and then I can't sleep. So it all correlates with each other. So I'm trying to find a balance between all 3 of them, because they're important for me. Once your mind is going, I do better in my business. I started reading, and John Maxwell is one of my favorites, and it said what do you put in your schedule?
It's okay, continue.
What do you put in your schedule as far as like how much time do you dedicate for your growth in whatever area it is that you want to do? And I want to practice my dialogue so I can feel confident doing my prospecting, because I really think that's my problem. I think I don't know what I'm going to say, or I'm going to get a no, and I'm like, and I have to get over that. I have to get over the fact that I am going to get no's, but eventually I'm going to get yeses because I know what I'm going to say. And I take myself as an example. When I started the business and how I carried myself, I was younger. And now as I get, more mature in the business, I carry myself a different way, and people see that. People definitely see the way you carry yourself. So if I'm confident in what I'm saying to you, that I'm going to sell your house, then you're going to believe me, because I certainly believe it. So that's something I want to work on. I want to work on being able to push myself, I would say, out of uncomfortable behaviors, so I can do the things I'm supposed to do, like work harder and smarter, and definitely respect my schedule so I can progress and become better at what I do.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Steph, I missed a little bit of that. I had to talk to I had to talk to Stephanie. I'm sorry, I had to talk to Melanie. But from what I take it, you want to spend more time doing a certain couple actions.
Yeah. Well, I was saying I'll practice my dialogue. Because if I'm confident enough in what I'm saying, then I'm going to be okay doing it. And that's something I haven't done. And respect my schedule as far as, when I'm going to do it. And I was mentioning John Maxwell, and he says how in your schedule, what does it look like for your growth? And I'm very visual, so writing this is actually good for me, because I have it in my calendar what I'm doing, and I just have to make sure I respect my time with eating, with exercising, and doing the things that help me be better at my business as well.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, I remember you doing one day, you did a call session, and I think you had gotten like 2 appointments out of that day, if I'm not mistaken. You were doing it with Ricardo, and I said to myself, wow, that's going to be good for you, because it's going to like almost convince you to keep doing that. It's like, what better way of convincing you to do the right things. You're already getting rewarded out of your first time. The funniest thing is I've never seen this in my life ever. The first phone call that Lim ever made on Mojo, first phone call, first everything. She just closed last week, right? You just closed last week? Just closed last week after a year, but it was incredible. So she was hooked since then. So I'd figure the same with you. You got that one dialing session you did for an hour or 2 with Ricardo, and you had walked away with 2 possible listing appointments. So I was like, you're hooked. You have.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm on fire, but the first day I got 7 appointments. Right, Lou?
Incredible. She called me.
If I could do it with my not very good-looking English, you could do more. So come on. So sit with Diego on Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
A prospect.
Lou is better for that.
No, Lou.
I want you, Diego.
We want Diego. We want Diego.
Boo Lewis.
Yeah, Boo Lewis. He's too serious for this.
He was the one that showed me how to do it.
No.
He's a master. He's a master.
Well, now is your time to teach what you've learned from the master.
Even if you don't teach us, maybe we can just chime in and listen to you while you do it.
Yeah.
And then we can pick up tricks like whatever.
He gets so excited.
Yeah, all they have to do is sit in with you while you're doing it. You don't have to stop doing anything.
You don't have to stop it. You don't have to show us anything. We can pick up.
Yeah.
It's not like get in front of us in the class and things like that. We know you're shy. But maybe we can just listen how you do it.
They'll probably help you with your smoking.
Yeah.
There you go.
Every time every time you want a cigarette, grab one of us and teach us, right?
That was awesome. All right, Danny, let me get you in here, man. Come around. Come on, next to
Danny!
This is a 20.
Okay, we can't see you in the camera, but it's okay.
Huh?
Danny.
Sorry.
You guys are in my way.
Oh, sorry.
Danny, go next.
Give him the stage.
Why can't you?
Wait, okay.
Because you're not behind the camera.
Okay, I don't know what to say. There's nothing for me to work on.
What?
Perfect.
That's already been said.
So simple.
The only perfect is Jehovah and Jesus. So there's plenty for me to work on. I give all my flaws to God because He's the only one who can improve me, really. I give my life to Him so that He can make me a better person. Because the world is only going to make you a lazier or worse person. The world will conform you. I don't want to be conformed. I want to be improved. So, with that being said, my exercise and diet regimen is pretty on point. So, not too much for me to improve on there. But
super disciplined. So I take a lot.
I think something for real for me to work on is like my social skills. I'm like really like retarded when it comes to speaking to people. And I'm very like reluctant to go up to speak to people. Oh, you're looking at me like, what are you talking about? No, honestly, like I hide. I'm a really like timid person. So that's something for me to work on. The confidence. I need to build a lot of confidence within myself. So I need to write that down. Someone give me some paper and a pen. Something else, like I need to focus on me. A problem about myself is I like helping other people way too much. Okay. I'm giving my life to other people, and that's not how I should live my life. My life is my life. My life is not, shouldn't be devoted to others. I think it's a good thing that I help people, and I'll always have that within myself. Like I'll always have that desire to see others in a better position, because as a Christian, like that's God's work, like sharing His love, His love and His grace. So, but at the same time, God says to put yourself before others, not others before yourself. So, that's one thing for me to work on. I'm gonna write that down. Okay, put me first.
I have an exercise for that. Then.
Oh, you do? I have an exercise for you too. If you want to lose 10 pounds,
really?
This is not gonna happen in 30 days. I'm gonna tell you right now. You can lose 5 pounds in 30 days. For sure.
You lose water.
Danny should train us.
Honestly, I'm a certified personal trainer. I say that to you guys every single day, but no one comes up to me. Hey, Danny, can you help me out?
Nobody wants to some stuff there.
Okay. Have you been doing that?
The twerk out.
Okay.
But actually, I did.
So and you know what? That's another thing too that I think we all should take into consideration, that like we can hear the best advice ever, right? Like you can go to a Tony Robbins concert and be super positive and hyped up for like a week, and then that week passes by and then you've like fizzled down and you're back. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear some advice, it should resonate within you forever. It shouldn't just have a temporary effect on you. Like someone's advice should always be with you wherever you go. Like that voice should be inside your head. Like, you know what? I know I'm hungry and that cheeseburger looks good.
Absolutely.
But Danny said that gluten and cheese is not good for my muscles, so I'm not going to eat that. And you could be like not doing anything with your day at the moment, and then Lewis's voice will say something like, "Oh, discipline. You know what? I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I'm, zoning out with my head down, looking at my phone. Wearing a white tie with my hair slicked back."
Flower tie.
So like seriously, like it's very rude for you to not take someone's words seriously, because when like people on YouTube, they get on YouTube and then they post these videos to help you in some aspect of your life. Maybe they're getting paid for it. I don't know, but if you're going to take the time to watch this video so that you can learn something, utilize that knowledge that you've picked up and implement what you've learned in your daily life so that it becomes second nature to you. And then that's what discipline is. Discipline is utilizing a new skill or knowledge into your daily life. And
This is good for that.
so what else did I say I was going to do? Oh, be more confident. That's what I said.
Yes.
Because confidence is everything. Like people say to me, "Oh, you, whatever. Why don't you have a girlfriend or something?" It's because I don't really have the confidence for it. I think.
What?
You don't need a girlfriend.
You don't have
That's
so cute.
No.
So be more confident. And then the fat guy with confidence is getting more girls
Tell you
than me
what,
because
you
he's got confidence.
put yourself first, and that's gonna come right along.
Exactly.
Okay, and then
Bang. 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 Bang.
Bam.
Louis like, okay, yeah, cut it off. Hurry up, come on, serious.
Something else, I think I need to be more serious and more focused because I am not a lazy person, but I'm an easily distracted person. So I need to put that. More focus.
Fuck?
I thought you didn't have a go.
He's hanging on the whole.
More focus. Okay. Be more serious. I'll put that.
You okay?
Okay. So. Something else. I need to stick to what I say, because it's easy for me to put down things on a piece of paper, but another thing is actually like sticking to it, so stick to what I wrote. So, okay, so that's me. I think that's enough about me. So, I want to go back.
So, Lou, what are you going to do with the holidays?
I'm sorry?
You already said it.
I said mine, but I'll give you some more stuff. But wait, with Danny, it's like you guys gotta. I know you guys don't live with him, but he is like so disciplined when it comes to working out and eating. It's like incredibly admirable. But if he took that same outlook towards the other things he wanted to do, he can accomplish it, because Danny always didn't used to eat like that. He used to eat nothing but brownies and pasta, and that was his whole diet until he got really sick. And that's why you see Danny now, that he eats the way he does and he exercises the way he does, and everything else, Danny, is going to just fall into place. I think like what you said, putting yourself first is really important. When Sophie gave the example of the life mask coming down with the oxygen, I thought of you immediately, because you put everyone first, and if there's ever any time left, it's you, and I think that's wrong, because everyone has to live their own life. Everybody has to take care of themselves, and you can do a lot more for others once you're in a much better position. I tell you this all the time. You can't be here and then help people that are slightly under you and expect to be a big help. You might be a slight help, but if you're all the way up here and somebody needed you, not only could you be a helper, you could be an inspiration, a mentor. You do a lot more for others once you've reached a better level. So that was great, Dan. Thank you so much. And I won't take too much more of your time. I just want to give you guys a quick technology tip before I let you guys go. With Conversion, everyone should have Conversion on their phone, the app. Hopefully everybody has it. With the Conversion app, if you go to it, on the right-hand side, there's just 3 dots. It allows you to set up an open house. So when people walk into your open house, right, you just put the MLS number in it. People can sign into your open house, and with their email and phone number. So now you have a virtual sign-in. So now instead of manually having to put everybody into a piece of paper and then into your Conversion, if you forget to, you put people in there right away, and it sends them an automatic message once they're in there. Thank you for visiting open house and all that stuff.
You could have said that to
I just found it this weekend. So there's some.
It asks for their email and for their number, everything, or what?
Right here?
Oh, those 3 dots.
Yeah. So it gets you, it asks their email and their phone number. So it doesn't make it optional for them. Well, you can make their phone number optional, but I wouldn't. I'd obviously really want to get their phone number. I mean, everybody has a phone number. So I would do that. It has a picture of the house. It looks really nice. So, you guys can play around with that next time you have an open house. But, take a tablet or a laptop, makes it look a lot more presentable. And that's my little tip for the week for you guys when it comes to this.
So wait, so if we do that on the computer, where is that at?
On the computer, I'm not sure where it would come up, but I know on this virtual one it has it. Yeah, it should have it too. We'll look for it. If you go to the computer on the Conversion site and type into the search bar open house, it should have it there. I'll look into it later. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to regroup for Nicola.